Good evening, Bhakti. How are you doing?
Very great. And I think it's an honor to be a part of this, you know, this leadership and the libraries and leaders in libraries basically. So actually, I'm very thrilled and very happy to be a part of, particular this this show. And thank you very much to you actually, to inviting me and allowing me actually to describe a thought behind how the leader should be and what leader should be ideally, or what we can do, what we need to do as a leader. So that's what is.
Lovely, lovely, lovely to have you, Bhakti. We have had a lot of leaders. I'm happy to have you. Before we get and start delving into a couple of powerful topics on the powerful book that you have chosen, I want to call out that nobody has chosen this book on season one of 33 leaders and season two of almost 40 leaders. So thank you so much for being an exclusive guest on the show and choosing an exclusive book. And thank you for pushing me to read the book once again, which I read many years back. So I pulled it
Yeah.
out and read it. So I'm very happy that I did that. Before we speak on the book, let me have the honor of introducing you to the audience. Good
Yes.
morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you would be sitting when you would be listening to the guest of the day. All of you were part of Leaders and Libraries Season 1, which had 33 global guests coming and talking on 22 powerful books. Season 2 has 40 leaders talking on 40 exclusive books. That is massive for a crazy book lover like me. And today we have yet another guest adding to the force, Mrs. Bhakti Nirmal Rana, head people and culture for an organization called Organic Recycling Systems. This is very interesting because I have not heard about this industry a lot, but I went and did a bit of research when she accepted the invitation. Thank you for accepting it, Bhakti. They are into something which is interesting and that caught my attention was waste to energy. Well, that was a
Yes.
beautiful phrase that I thought an organization can use as a tagline or a catchline. They are
Correct.
primarily in the industry of biotechnology and they are into waste management, organic compost from the city waste. They are also into a space where they help cleaning up cities and ensuring that they are far more better
Correct.
livable for people. I think it's a
Correct.
beautiful space to be in beyond the business proposition of an organization and employee value proposition that she's creating in the
Yes.
organization. I think the society value proposition, the
Correct.
SVP, I think is far more bigger for me than anything else.
Yes.
Congratulations on being part of such an industry,
Thank
Bhakti.
you
I
very
have
much.
not met somebody at your level from this industry. So it's an honor to meet you on this particular platform. She is somebody who comes with 20 years of experience, close to in the space of people management, talent acquisition, talent management, L&OD, culture building, capability building, and HR. So anything that you talk about in the space of human capital development towards organization performance, I think she has done it across. Beyond all this, I'm so happy to have her because she's also a book lover. So thank you so much, Bhakti, for accepting the invitation and joining the force. Welcome on board.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you've described so beautifully about the organization what I work, and even about my profile or my position. In fact, to be very very honest, the industry which I work, it's a very very now in today's in today's date, it is a need actually,
True.
in kind of the changes which we are facing it and everything.
Yeah,
I think it is a need, it is a basic need which is I think we are working towards it. And
absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's a industry which is actually there is always there is an intent to give back to the society.
Yeah,
So you are
yeah,
somewhere you're contributing to the society, somewhere
absolutely.
contributing to the coming giving back to the society kind of a thing. So yes, I think I'm very happy to be a part of such organization,
Lovely, lovely.
aligned with somewhere your thoughts, and your intent is very very
Very true. Very true. You're
so
making
that is
people,
one.
you're making citizens like us live in a lovelier and more beautiful city. What else can we ask for?
No, I'm telling you, Rajiv, when because when initially when I joined here, I think, many of when, even today when we go back for hiking and all,
Yeah.
I think when we say it's like, waste management, so they will be very happy to be like, okay, fine, I think it's good industries or it's interesting industries. But when we actually see our plants and all, then they say, oh, by God, there's like, there's so much of stinking areas and all that things. But yeah, that's what I think people need to understand. You see, there is something like, still in spite of that, there is something like, you can even take out from the waste.
Very true. Very true.
To do something. We do even a compost. We also do the compost out of the waste. We do energies, and now I think a lot many products which we are, working towards that.
Absolutely. 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 I'm a very firm believer that anything and everything created by God Almighty on this planet, there's nothing called waste. Everything is of some purpose.
Everything can be recycled. Yeah.
Very true. Beautiful, beautiful. Such a pleasure to have you, Bhakti. I'm going to start with the first question. So tell us and the audience, how did books happen in your life? How early was it? Were you a school-going girl or a college-going girl, or was it executive that you were aspiring to get into the corporate life? How did it happen?
So I'll tell you, to be very honest, as a child, I was not much of, to be very honest. It was like, the book was limited to just a study and marks, to be very, very honest. As I become a teen, started going to the college, then I used to read a small columns of motivation talks which comes in the newspaper in particular days and all. So I used to find it very interesting. That's how somewhere I started reading books, actually, reading articles. I would not say the books, but reading the articles. When you pass the college, did the MBAs and all good, everything is fine. When you enter the corporate world, in fact, I remember very clearly, to be very precise. So I used to work for an organization called Centrum Group. Okay, so I was reporting to my director. In fact, she's still working there. My reporting manager was Deepa Pocha as a head HR, actually. And she used to very beautifully used to elaborate and discuss about the books to the different HODs or different department heads and all that. Now, the way she used to articulate things has created an interest in me. In terms of I think books give you so much of it gives you words to articulate things in beautiful ways. You can present it in a so beautiful way. So that was the initial I think I would say when I started reading a book. And to be very, very precisely, I also was had one of a senior lady. Was a school-going kid of around, I think, 6th or 7th standard, I believe. And he used to come to office on the weekends or very lazy days or on half days and all that. But at times to the office for just a company mom kind of thing. He used to come with the books, and the kid was such a massive reader. In terms of he will finish the books in 1 day, 2 day kind of a thing. More than that, he was so passionate about book that even if you will pick up his book, which is read by him for 4 times, you find the book as new as bought from the shop. Okay. Not allowed to be his book to be folded or his book to be colored or his book to be marked. I used to feel so I think such a small kid. He has such a great way. I'm such a passion about reading. True. It is that age. Just imagine how this kid will evolve. I know. So I think that's how I started reading, actually. Beautiful. And the journey has been so far. Lovely. Keep buying. But I don't give the books to anybody. Don't give it. Ask them to buy it, because when they buy it, they'll value it more. Let it not come free to them. Sometimes I become possessive to not share my books. Even I don't give it. I say, ये अच्छा किताब है, आप जाके खरीद लो, because you put your money and buy it, you'll value it more. Right? Lovely. So tell us a little more. It's a lovely conversation. So as you started reading those books and you started moving beyond articles and management books, today, when you look back, good 18, 19 years of experience that you have on your shoulders, how do you think books played a very significant role in evolving you as a leader that you are? Take us a little through that. So I'll tell you, that's what I was mentioning, Rajiv. What happens is that when you grow as a from the kid to the teen to the the college going person to the corporate world, I think you always will have a limited surroundings or a people who you are interacting with.
Very true.
It becomes your stereotype pattern in terms of the when you communicate with them, when you talk to them. I will have a very similar discussions with the same kind of a people. I will have because
Very
I
correct.
know them, they know me very well.
Very correct.
Right? So what happens is when you start reading, I think reading gives you a perspective to look at things in a wider way. Because it contains the stories, it contains the message, it contains the the learning and the motivations and blah blah things in it. More than that, I think it gives you words. It helps you to articulate things in a much better way.
Very true. Very
When I speak to you in a simple language of yes, I need one thing or X thing or Y thing, only if I can present the same thing in a very different type, depends on the situation and depends on the scenario.
Very true.
So it helps me to, at end of it helps you to grow and mature yourself in all around. So that is how I look at the book, and it gives you always a perspective to look at things in a wider way, or in a completely in a different way also.
Very true. Very true. It evolves you, expands you, amplifies you as a human being, isn't it?
Right. So it's like it is not making me a stereotype. Okay, fine. My thought process is going in only this way. But yes, I have a wider.
It opens you up completely.
Yeah. That's what.
Very true. Very true. So when all these books played so powerful role in your own growth, I'm very curious to know that what made you pick this beautiful book for the day, Leader 50 Insights from Mythology by Devdutt Pattanaik. I'm so proud to talk about this man and his book today on this show. What made you pick this?
So I'll tell you, as a personality, to be very honest, I'm a very, very Indian. So, and to that extent, even my husband is also, a very, very Indian, in terms of cultural kind of a thing.
Right.
So what happened was I think, Devdutt Pattanaik, he had came to our organization once, a year back when he was working as Chief People Officer for the Future Group. And that time this designation was a very, very new and uncommon. Today, I know you will hear this designation.
Very true.
Many leaders and all that. But that time, I think it was the very first time I heard the designation. It was a very catchy to me. Someone can be labeled as Chief People Officer.
People Officer.
Yes, seriously. And he had come along with Mr. Biani. And he had presented, he had a talk for around 30-40 minutes in their organization where he has addressed our all employees. And few things he has very beautifully explained in terms of how the mythology is connected to the corporate world. So I think that was a time, I started following him. I started reading about, this Devdutt Pattanaik. More than that, I think I started following him on the Epic because he used to, in fact, a lot of episode he used to have on an Epic as a,
Very true.
So that's how I think, and honestly, I was waiting. I was always curious to know, okay, how come Devdutt Pattanaik has not come with such kind of a book? Honestly, one day, I was able to find, okay, fine, he has a book. And then it has made me to pick up this book. I said, now I have to read it. So, and it was very aligned in terms of if we go back in our, if we think about our mythology or think about Indian culture, I strongly believe, Rajiv, that today let's I think we have a, there are great, the authors are available worldwide. Great books are there in the, which is published. But when we talk about, if we think go back as an Indian, you are Mahabharata, even Ramayana, or even Gita. Gita, I think it itself talk about leadership from the day one. I'm
very true.
Since the beginning, it is the root of our Indian culture. When even if you read these books, or if you go back and even see the Ramayana, Mahabharata serial, every actions, everything has a reason or scientific reason. behind it. So I think I was able to very well connected with those things, and
Lovely.
it like love this.
Super. Thank you for picking this book. It's going to be a very, very interesting
Just to mention,
conversation.
I'll tell you, my daughter, 10 years old daughter, in fact, she is now currently taking a class on a Gita from there's an online virtual class which is going on. So she's told me, Mama, should I do it? I said, of course, beta, you do it.
Yeah, of course.
So she was initially 2 days she has taken the class and then Mama, the language is too hard. 1 second.
Yeah.
So the language is too hard, Mama. I said, no, beta. See, whatever you understand because Gita is a very, very deep. You won't understand at this age. But wherever you find an interest, you continue that, but ensure you complete that.
Very true.
So she's doing that. In fact, she's just running with this class.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
So
beautiful. It's so nice to see a corporate leader like you in the modern times believing in such things and wanting to give it to your daughter. It's a huge inspiration for a lot of mothers. I think they should do that. It's high time that we start looking at a lot of things inside in this part of the world. And the book is going to be exactly that. So I'm very excited to go to the first question, right? You know what the beauty of the book is? There are stories and stories. So I thought I'll pick up a couple of them, which I thought would make sense from the context of young leaders who will listen to you, Bhakti, right? You could have spoken on the entire book, but the time permits us to talk on certain things. I picked up certain things which are very relevant to the current world of young leaders, the so-called modern young leaders, the way they look at Western world and all that, right? The first one. The first story itself is titled as Becoming a Leader.
Correct. Yeah, right.
What has been one big lesson that you picked from this?
Okay, I will just give you because I think just give you the story of the gist of that story. Okay, so in that story, it is all about the shift of the attitude. You understand. So it is like basically that when Pandavas and Kauravas, when they have been asked to choose, they have been given a kingdoms. So in Pandavas were given a kingdom which was underdeveloped.
Right.
Even in Kaurava was given a developed kingdom.
Right.
Both were Kauravas felt this is okay, we have got such a beautiful the kingdom and these guys didn't get it. But what has happened is later Pandavas had a capability to build that kingdom as one of the most beautiful kingdom, which is called as a Hastinapur. So it is about irrespective whether you get what you get in your hand, but it is a capability of a leader to make it as as best as it can be.
Right.
You get everything ready in a plate and cook by self. You are taking the accountability, where you are cherishing or where you are taking people along with yourself.
Right.
I think, that is something, which is, so it is about that shift of the attitude in the story. There is also they have mentioned that after they have developed Hastinapur, which was the envy of the entire world. This is such a beautiful, the kingdom they have developed. But when they sat in that that they played a game and they have lost kingdom and everything. So it's something where they had to pay for it actually.
Right.
Despite they have developed, they couldn't even retain that.
Right.
They couldn't even retain, forget about that. But they couldn't retain, in spite they had a Krishna with them.
I know.
So Krishna was the one who helped them to develop Hastinapur.
Correct.
Krishna, in spite he knew everything. That because he wanted him to pay for it. That how can you give away your kingdom while you are playing a game, gambling a game? As a king, you doesn't have the right to do it.
True.
A journey of 14 years had all these Pandava different lessons in the life and has made them more matured towards looking at the things.
Okay. So that was kind of a punishment for them for having given away the.
So it is that sometimes one needs to be dragged for those mercy and put into those mercy also.
Mm.
They have the entire approach. So one is like, as a leader, we start as, oh, I have to develop this department. I have to develop this department. I will ensure like, I become the top in this,
Very
I
true.
get the reward of it. But to take this forward, maintain it, I think it is also something which we have to learn as a leader.
I know. Taking it forward, maintaining, I think, very powerful point that you said. I don't know how many leaders are successfully able to do that, right?
Yes, sustaining on that area and ensuring like, that you are continuing your journey in the same way. I think it is important. Just today, if I get a tag, is not enough. I think I become the department head. I think Bhakti has grown from the HOD to the CHRO of the company. The designation I have got it. But the designation, I still have to continue my journey.
Very true.
What I'm supposed to be done as that role.
Very true. Very true.
This is what it says in this
particular shift of attitude. Beautiful. Very, very this also takes me to a very interesting next story, right? And I'm going to keep this conversation story based. The book is story.
Yeah.
Right?
This book is, I'm telling you, it's a story. But story has, it has been given in such a beautiful way, wherein you have you talk about a mythology coming back to the corporate world.
True.
You are summarizing in terms of what is your take on that.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So there's one of the chapter, he talks about two kind of people called dreamers and the second set of people called implementers. We know these words as English language understand, we know.
Right.
But as a leader, why do you see this as a powerful story? And how should young leaders interpret this?
Honestly, I'll tell you one thing, Raji. What happens is as a young, when you are mentioning a young, okay, so what we are talking about the young leaders is in today's generation. Today, when we go for this campus hiring, okay, what happens is if you ask the questions to this young kids, they will have a lot of choices. They have a very clear indication, so they have a very clear mindset, which is okay. When I do a campus hiring, I think they will come with a very, very clear thought process. Ma'am, this is what I want to become. This is what I want to do it. But somewhere I think, they have been taught also in that way in the 2 years of their journey as an MBA graduate. And that's how they've been trained on that part. But to be very honest, when we go on a practical ground, things are very, very different.
Very different.
Talking that I want to become a CEO of the company and pass through the journey of becoming a CEO of the company is a very, very different.
Very true.
You actually have to it's a journey actually, So today, when you tell them, I think they are a dreamer. Actually, they are most of the kids will be a dreamer that I want to become a this and I want to become a that. Yes, it is good to be a dreamer because that's what makes you to succeed.
Very true.
Keep your vision as what you want to become.
Here
it's something we in today's world we all talk about the secret that you start dreaming, you start believing, and that's what it comes back to you.
Yeah.
So it is, yes, you have to be a dreamer, but at the same time, if you are just dreaming the whole time and there is no action on that,
what's the point?
Nothing is going to come to you. So you have to be an implementer also. So it's it doesn't talk about the dreamer and implementer, but it talks about you have to have a balancing act on that. So many organizations, in fact, here also they have mentioned that many times what happens in that organization, okay, fine, when somebody talks a very, very superficial, we simply will tell that this guy is talking or something nonsense. I think so it is reality, it is a very practical way. Let's not look at things in that way. And sometimes we only wanted to have somebody who is very, very aggressive, talks about numbers, who talks about, yes, I will be able to deliver this and all that things. And of course, somewhere we would have also validated those facts also.
Correct.
But it doesn't work as an organization for all the time. Sometimes you need people who can articulate things in a very well way or dream in a very well way, so that there are people who can take things forward. They have a people who are visionary, very go ahead of the time and think. But you also need an implementer as well.
Very much.
So I think it talks about balancing. You need to have the team of people who are a dreamer and who are implemented. You need to have a young leaders who need to be a leader as well as you need to be a dreamer.
Implementer.
Don't become like, Mittika Madhavs or someone who just follows and all that. That is what is written.
Correct.
Beautifully mentioned. Like
Very.
four kind of a people, which is like dreamer. Then there is your, Sheikh Chali, which is a dreamer. Then Gangu Teli, who only like, implement.
Implementer.
Mittika Madhav, who is very flexible, and your Raja Bhoj, who is all rounder. Actually.
All rounder. Correct. And then this Gangu Teli and Raja Bhoj is such a powerful stories in the north of India for a lot of boys and girls when they are growing, right? And I think it's all about being the Raja Bhoj, who can be an implementer combo and a dreamer combo.
Correct. Right? So that's what I've been telling you, that our Indian mythology, if you like, pick up any ancient stories, sure, like, the kids have some learnings out of it.
Very true.
Hanuma or a Krishna or this Gangu Teli, Raja, and even your Bilbil and all.
Yes.
Great lessons for the kids to like, look at those, and even it's a time they can always like those stories will help them to become a leader.
I know.
So it's not like, you need to pass out the MBAs, but I think that can be developed from your very young age if you are like, inculcating those things on your child.
Very true. I
agree
with you. I think on this channel you're making a very powerful point also, Bhakti, that you and me, we belong to the generation where one leg is on the past and one leg is in our children who are in the future. We are a little in the stuck situation, right? Either we nahi chhod pa rahe, udhar bhi nahi ja pa rahe, beech mein phase rahe. So for us kind of parents, and I have a 13-year-old son, he already calls himself a pre-teen, and I can see rebellious behaviors and all already. For parents, you're making a very powerful point that please, as much as you expose the Netflixes, the Amazon Primes, and the PS4s of the world for your children, it's also important to expose them back to the Jataka tales, the Panchatantras, the Gita Upanishads, and all these. Those values also stay, and those stories also can give them a lot of lessons. I think it's making a very, very powerful point on this channel. It makes tremendous.
It's not we are against about the other cultures, but there are like, the culture, our Indian culture has enough, in itself, which actually, if you look at in a very like, even if today you and me also will read, probably we'll have a like, a lot of things to like, make a sense.
Very true.
Though we know, like, I and you must be knowing, we would have seen Ramayanas and Mahabharata many a times. Lockdown in this COVID period, again the Mahabharata and Ramayana was started.
Correct.
Which we used to say years and years back.
Yes.
It gives you a little like, that, and you feel good about it.
Very much.
That, and then now understanding, okay, this was the action, this was done, this is the done.
I know.
So it is.
I remember because when Ramayana Saga's Ramayana came, it was 1986. And India would stop when Ramayana was playing. Roads were empty. People used to stand outside the Videocon shops and keep looking at Videocon TVs to watch from outside. My understanding of Ramayana was, Acha, Bhagwan hai, story hai, father, mother would sit and watch. Today, you can pick up leadership lessons. You can pick up corporate lessons from them, right? Beautiful.
Yeah, that's what.
Very, very lovely. So let me go to the next one. He talks about a very interesting story and says, deeds for leaders. And you just spoke about the fact that, actions and implementing as an important element. What is it that Devdutt is trying to tell us from this chapter called Deeds for Leaders?
So I wanted to tell you a very interesting note in this, which actually, in fact, when I had again, read this book, I think I was very, very, it was very aligned and it was very thoughtful. So he has mentioned about something called as a vivah. So, it is the book is talking about that the one prince can become the king only after he marries.
Marriage.
So he's been called as a king. Only after that he's been called as a king. So basically, what the Devdutt was mentioning in this book is why the one has to be a married. So here, in culture, we have the concept called as a vivah. Okay, now vivah is something that you try and you are marrying a woman, okay, or marrying a queen who is next to you, and you take the accountability for her life.
Very true.
When we say the accountability, you become responsible to protect her. You become responsible to nourish her. You become responsible take care of her.
Correct.
So, and that is the same duty of a king when he becomes when he takes the charge of the kingdom.
Take care of the kingdom, nourish the kingdom.
Yes. So that is the reason, like, that formally, like, his Abhisheka is done when he's a, king, or there is a, like, the rituals is played and invited, like, with as good as the Vivah thing. And he's been, he's been called as a king that. So it is like, somewhere like, it is like, by giving, so here I would wanted to tell you is, by just giving the appointment letter, by giving you a designation doesn't making you a leader, making you a senior. It is like, it is all about, like, when you are taking that designations, it is along with a lot of responsibility.
Very true.
Accountability, lot of ownership. As and until you are not aligned with them, I think there is no point of you become a, like, you are, that designation doesn't mean at all.
Very true, very true.
So what happens is, like, simply, like, many a times we, we position somebody as, like, okay, fine, you are, now you are designated as a, like, CEO or senior vice president organization. Okay, and then you are, of course, you are giving that power to him. But how we are facilitating him also is one of the things. It is here about the concept, like, which is he has spoken about, that a simple meal with your team, or simple introduction, casual introduction of a team with your meal, with your team. You are that, like, somewhere you are indirectly, like, announcing that, yes, see, he's the one who's now going to look after.
Right.
He's the one now who will be along working, for you.
Right.
Be responsible to, take you to the next level, or probably help you in a growing.
True.
So it is all about, like, leadership doesn't come with the appointment letter.
It has to be announced to the system also. No, people need to know that so-and-so has been appointed.
Yeah. Initially, what used to happen is, in government organization, it is like, simply you are, like, you spend 30 years in the organization, growing in that same, same department as a, like, assistant to manager to
Very true.
XYZ things. But holistically, you are not able to do anything or contribute anything much. Today, it's not the case. Today, when we are talking about, like, with the friends, like, today, in fact, I strongly believe that the human resource is a very, very, like, human, in fact, in the organization, I think humanity is a very, very important, it plays a very key role.
Very much.
People function, I would not say the humanity, but a people function.
Very much.
So it is not something like, it's a stereotype earlier, you've imposed the, like, numbers on the people, and then they have to work and they have to execute.
Yeah.
Organization has the holistic approach that when you are expecting organization to grow, you also have to ensure that you are growing, even people are growing, but not in only growing as a designation, but as a holistically they are also growing along.
Very true. I think that's pretty much the leader is pretty much the king, right? Who can do so much for that country or for the team, for the people, right?
Yeah.
I think that's very
needs to be actually a listener, in fact, I think that is also one point he mentioned here is that, what happens is when we say a designation, Raji, what happens is that I have a power. Okay, now I have been given a power, so I will use my power. Okay, and there is anything happens, people has to listen to me. Okay? And I will have my own, like, way of looking at things. I think that doesn't work that way. Now in today's as a leader, like, okay, fine. If something has come to me, I have to understand both the side of it. I have to be a listener. I have to be like, not just hearing for the sake of it. I have to be a listener. Then I have to have, like, a very holistic, judgmental view.
Yeah. Very true. In fact, very beautifully you said, that's one reason why in our mythologies, we have examples of leaders disguising themselves, kings disguising themselves and walking into the towns, across the market, across the people to see कि लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं मेरे बारे में.
Yeah.
You get live data there, right? And you go back with your mantri and sit and discuss. बस आप तो यही बता रहे हो दरबार में, वहां तो सुनने को कुछ और मिल रहा है. What's the life status there, right? And then
So
you
now
make
the small things, it will take you like, it will connect you so well.
beautifully.
Even this mythology, I'll give you a simple incident which has recently happened with me. I have, recently we have inaugurated my house, new house. Okay. So we had kept puja and everything. So then they said, like, formally you have to enter the house. You go back, you go outside and then you enter the house with the right leg and all that things. And he asked me, Pandit asked me that Bhakti, the ma'am, आपको है ना यहाँ पे you have to draw the Lakshmi वहाँ पे जो दरवाजे के पास, okay? So and you ensure that the Lakshmi के पैर अंदर की side पे. So and seriously, like I was so touched in the way he was explaining it. So it is like that you are inviting Lakshmi to your house.
To your home. Beautiful.
That is a very simple thing which you are doing it by just drawing the Lakshmi pair, Lakshmi's feet, which is towards the inside of your house. That gives you a feel that yes, truly Lakshmi is coming to my house.
Beautiful.
Somewhere you start believing it, and somewhere you start following on those lines.
Very true. Very true.
It leaves your thought, okay, fine. I think this rituals, so I mean to say, Raji, the rituals has some
logic and meaning behind them. You're true.
Yes.
Very, very true.
So again, if you align with, like, earlier, if you see, and in fact, the Indian culture, or even in the ancient time of our Indians, or, the Bharat, we used to be called as, like, that we were wealthy, rich, and that was one of the reasons which is everything has happened.
True.
Wealthy, rich. In fact, you talk about, like, all the Rajas and Maharajas were so powerful, so strong, which even can't even think today.
Correct.
They were able to, like, lift, like, those, the kind of war clothes and all, which is 100 kgs and all. You can't even imagine those things. But if you really think behind it, they were so powerful in their thoughts. They were so aligned with their vision. They were so clear with, like, what they wanted to do. It was the courage they had, which was allowing, or which was making them so strong.
Very true. Very true.
So the belief was very strong, actually.
Very true. There's so much. I think I love the example that you gave. Very, very interesting. This takes me to another very interesting one, and I want to ask you this. This Legacy Lake story was very interesting for me. Right.
The most beautiful example, in fact, one of the beautiful lesson in this book, actually.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like, it has been carved or probably explained, So, this I wanted to give tell you the story, what, the Devdutt talks about this story he talks. So it has happened. So, like, the story, what is mentioned here is that there was one king. He dies and he goes to the heaven.
Okay.
Then, like, he lives in the heaven because he went to the heaven because he has done a very good work. Okay, so that's the reason he got a heaven, and he lived in the heaven for many years. Now one day, like, the heaven people tells him, okay, boss, now you have to go back. We have got to understand that you have not done enough good work, which is still remembered by the people. Okay, so he tells, but I have done all the good work. Know about me, and in my time I have done so many good things. I said, do so that the heaven people tells him to one thing, go back to earth, go back to earth. Even if the single person will, like, tell you that yes, they remember you, then we will take you back to the heaven.
Okay.
And so he said, okay, fine, I will find it. And he was very confident and sure that, I will find somebody. He goes back to the, earth, and then he talks to people. Nobody remembers him. Because it was like, things have changed. So, everything was changed because it is years and years past by.
Years and years.
So he talks to people and he tries to find out, okay, somebody will remember me. He says that. Finally, like, he gets one tortoise who tells, yes, I remember you, that you have done a good work, and he was very happy. But at the same time, he has been so honest enough to tell the tortoise that, but I have, like, because tortoise say that I live in this lake for years now, and which is built by the king. So this guy very honestly tells him, ki, it's good you remember me as my name, but I have never created such lakes in my own life, and I remember it very very clear. So then this guy, this tortoise tells him, ki, if you remember, you used to donate a lot of cow. People, okay, and you used to do a lot of charity for of a cow, and because of those cows were running around, so that has created some kind of the landfills, and it has created a pond.
Okay.
Pond has become a survival for me. I am living it for so many years. So it is all because of you. So it is
So indirectly the lake got created.
Yes. So it is about beautifully mentioned about your conscious act and unconscious act.
Okay.
So leadership is most of the time as a leader, we try to do things very consciously.
True.
Start looking at things you just act as your contribution, and not as a reward. I think it comes back to you.
It does. It's like a boomerang. It comes back.
Yeah, and somewhere I'm sure, because I can relate it to very much. I just wanted to share one more, if you won't mind it. My very one of the incident in my corporate life. So it was in the early years of my career. I used to work as a counselor. Initial starting period of my organization. So what has happened, one time after I left the organization, I started a new organizations and all that thing. One of the day, one guy called me up and he tells me, Madam, thank you very much. And he had sent me some letter and all that thing. So I was not recalling, why this guy is thanking me and all that. He had told me, Madam, if you remember, you had pushed me to join particular cause, and you had tried level best to accommodate in this way and that way, and taking up my career to the different level.
Okay.
Of course, for me that time it was I wanted to do it because something is it is as a profile I'm supposed to do.
Right.
That act unconsciously has changed somebody's career, and he's very thankful to me and is coming back to me.
और आपको याद भी नहीं है.
Yeah, seriously, because I thought okay, fine, because that when we talk to when I am filling the batch of 30-40 people, and probably I would have done the enrollment of 100 200 kids.
True.
Remember all that, but yes, I think my conscious act on that time, has unconsciously has changed somebody's life.
Very true.
Help somebody in their career. So that is something I in fact I
relate to this king's story, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the message to the young leaders? Is it that always work towards leaving a legacy, or is it about you never know, any good deed can come back to you as a legacy anytime?
No, so this is basically so I would say it's a very very simple, Raji, that you need to, as a young leaders, you have to have a fully the conscious mind to do your act. It's a very very important, for an example, if you start your career with a XYZ level, maybe executive level, but give a justice to that position, give a justice to that, and very aligned with the organization you're working with and looking to achieve it. Forget about because what happens in today's case is, at times I have seen that they start in the organization, within a 3 months or a 6 months, either they look at the shift, or either they look for okay, fine, now I will look at a next move, or I want to promote it. Because I think that is a very very good thing, but at the same time, I think have a very conscious mind that how you are doing a justice to your position.
Very much.
Not going the 6 months ahead that yes, because of that I'm doing today. So that is something I believe strongly, and I feel that I think that's a need. We the young leaders need to understand that.
Very true. Very. I think very nicely, Sachi. If they start doing this, I think without they knowing, they would have done so much of good deeds that sometime later when they grow and become senior leaders, like your story, somebody will come back and say, "Aapne tab wo kiya, aapne tab ye kiya."
I'm telling you, so I was one of the day, I tell you, so what happens is, because, it always leaves a mark on somebody's mind.
Yeah.
Do, good deeds with the conscious mind, but not, as a expected as a result, or like
Mm.
thought process with the, okay, fine, we will remember and all that thing, but consciously you have acted what you should have acted. So it leaves a mind in somebody's mind, and it comes back to you. That's what I feel
Very
very.
much, very much, very
I
much.
think I have met many leaders, in fact, very, very senior, the CEOs and CXOs and all. Somewhere, if I think it comes very naturally. If as a true leader, they also are like, okay, fine, they extend, or they're willing to look at things in that way. They
Uh,
also like, ensure, yes, they do selfless things as they should be doing it, and accordingly act on it.
Very true. Beautiful. That was very nicely explained. I'm going to take you to the last but one question. This particular element called talking matters that he says in one of the chapters was very interesting for me. And I'm an extrovert. I'm a leadership coach. I'm a leadership facilitator. I always keep saying that communication is such a powerful tool to build your credibility, to build your visibility, to build your brand.
Mm.
I could relate to this story. How do you relate to this, Bhakti, as a leader? Why is talking so important?
So communication is important even today, even tomorrow, or even earlier also.
Mm.
It is going to be a key, a part for any kind of communication, not leaving to the corporate.
Mm.
To say, like, even in your personal life also, even in your professional life also.
Mm.
Assuming things like, things will happen in this work, things will happen in that work. I think it doesn't work unless and until you are vocal about it, unless and until you are clear in the communication. It's going to be like, always a challenge.
Mm.
So what happens is, like, many a times, it is always say that many a times a lot of people feel, or even I feel, how to say no. I want to be a very diplomatically goody goodies on everybody's note. But sometimes you have to understand, and you should be able to differentiate in terms of how clearly or how effectively you have to communicate, and ensure, like, that the communication is, like, gone in a right way, and
Right.
taken in a right spirit or
Mm.
way. So I say it like, X things, and then you take X thing as X plus.
Mm.
Needed, or even X minus is also needed. I need
Mm.
to convey it as an X, and you should also take it as an X.
X, correct. Mm.
So I think it is a very, very, a very, very important thing. Also, I feel as a leader, in fact, I do it like, many a time, or I strongly believe as a leader that I think it is important when we say the communication, how aligned or how we are connected to our people, and how people are connected to us.
Mm.
The team is connected to us actually.
Very true.
So it is simple as, like, okay, today, like, I may have a, like, 10, 15, 20 people reporting to me.
Mm.
Somewhere, like, if I don't know about who they are and what they are, I think somewhere it is a big failure on my end also, because first of all, when I'm not aligned, or when I'm not very clear aligned with my own team, how can I expect the others to, like,
Agree. I agree.
follow me?
Yes.
So when we say the communication, it is also about, like, how connected you are,
Mm.
how much you spend time with your team, how much you know your team, whether your team is very aligned with you or with your expectations and all. I think it is a very, very basic things actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as a leader, that's the first thing, that when we start our career, probably, we all, one needs to be, like, very, very connected to those aspects.
Very much. Very
So that
much.
is the thing which
I think it's very, very right, because the more you're able to talk with people and allow people to talk with you, you create a safe environment around, right? You feel
no,
that
but
it's a part of you.
and trust, Rajiv. I think I'm sure, like, you will believe that the gap in a communication is the major challenge in most of the
I
organizations
know.
at times.
Very much.
A
Very much.
simple, like, small errors in our communication can make a big mess. So it is very important that when we are, it is very important to have a very successful communication discussion, and then it is a very important as a leader. I think probably I think I have to, when I'm saying the communication, I have to be aligned with my own team and the
Very much. Very much.
If I'm talking something and they are talking something, I think probably first of all we all need to align.
I know. Organization तो बाद में आता है.
ना मैं अगर मेरी टीम से बात ही नहीं करती हूँ, मैं sitting on my desk or my cubicle, I don't even take a one round, I don't have a casual lunch with my team, I don't have a stupid discussion with my team, a very casual approach with my team. So how will they align with me?
They will not. Very true.
Talk something else. Okay, fine. उसने कुछ बोल दिया था, हमने कुछ समझ लिया था, ठीक है अभी हो जाएगा. Doesn't leave you as a as a leader or as a good leader.
Very true.
It is a very important.
Very important. Very true. You know, in fact, as you said, I was thinking you walking out of your cabin and going and meeting people is pretty similar to the king who disguises and goes and walks around the town in the evening.
Yes.
Pretty much that, right? The only difference is वहाँ वो disguise करके क्योंकि राजा है, यहाँ आपको disguise करने की जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप वैसे ही जा सकती हैं बाहर. But it's such an important step.
No, it gives you ownership. I'll tell you somewhere that comfort also to your team to come and discuss anything and to come and talk anything, because I strongly believe Raji, that when you take a charge of some position, you need to be a much more responsible.
Very much.
Ensuring that the people under you are equally grown, or you ensure that they are developed under you. Not here to just do your work. But when you are called as a department head, when you are called as a leader for the organization, you are taking a charge of their accountability themselves. You cannot just expect them, okay, fine, you give me that report and timeline.
I know.
So somewhere you have to have that thing, and I strongly believe in that.
Thank you so much. That was lovely explained. So I'm going to come to the last question of this beautiful conversation. I would love to go beyond in this book, but my format allows me 45-50 minutes of time. So tell me, Bhakti, with all that years of experience that you have garnered over time and the books that you have read, what would be two powerful advices for the young leaders that you would want to give on this platform?
This book? So I respected, of course, it is mentioned in this book also. So one is, of course, the attitude. I think, which matters a lot. And I think this is when I think it is there in my DNA, basically, that, one needs to have a right attitude. Everything all will fall in place. So to be just not praising myself, but in my organization, wherever I work, I have been recognized as having a very, very right and right attitude.
Matters.
Flexible. So you cannot have a robust behavior or robust mindset towards the thing. But somewhere, yes, I think if you don't have the right attitude, it doesn't work anything.
So that's the first advice, have the right attitude. What's the second one?
Believe in that. And second, I think, in this book, there is a one, I think it is out, I think probably it is not covered in the lesson. But from this book, I will pick up something which is called as I as a leader. Okay, so it is it is basically leader is responsible to create an environment around him. So it is basically in terms of how attentive he is about his own people, how much his people knows about him, how much his his vision and goal is aligned with his team, and so is the team's vision.
Very true.
So it is a complete holistic and vice versa picture. It cannot be a one side of it. It has to be always a two side of it.
Very, very true.
You cannot have something that take approach, but you should have always a give and take approach.
Very, very much. Very true.
So that I believe the leader needs to have that kind of the attention towards the things in terms of the way they look at it and the way they approach towards the team. So that is, I think, it's a time for this, I would say, it's a time for us actually be an eye opener and all. But yes, I think the learning doesn't stop, and there is a long way to go for
Very
everything.
much. Very, very much.
I would not say like I am a leader in today's date, but yes, it's a journey which possibly like we have to continue, and we have to ensure that at least we become a better and better by day.
Absolutely. I think young leaders is a very powerful point that Bhakti is trying to make, that beyond all the degrees and certificates and designations and successes that you have, I think primarily, fundamentally, which is going to be eternal, is the right attitude. And that can take you a long, long, long way. And this book of Devdutt has got stories after stories after stories. I think me and Bhakti could do justice only touching on
I
6 or 7
swear, I
topics.
think we can discuss.
If you read this book, you can have a 1 day complete session on this itself. It gives you tremendous lessons on right attitude, aptitude to build koi bhi kar sakta hai. Thank you so much, Bhakti, for summarizing this powerful point at the end of this conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed this chat. I hope you had a good time.
No, Raja, that's what I think, that's what in the beginning of the session I mentioned, that I think you somewhere has again helped me, or probably like, that antenna is again, acted when I will again, like, I think start my journey, basically. So somewhere, anyways, you have already given a list of the books which I am.
Sure.
And I would wish like you continue with this revolution.
Will do. Definitely will do. Thank you so much once again for joining the Force of 40 Leaders and being part of this event. I completely appreciate this. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much for inviting me, Rajiv. It was
Anytime.
really wonderful. Actually, it was wonderful for me to expressing, and of course, aligning. I'm like, just describing my thoughts in the form of like, the learnings and lessons from
Yes.
actually.
It was very important because the purpose is not for you or for me. The purpose is for the young
Yes.
leaders who will listen to somebody as experienced as you are. So thank you so much
Mhm.
for doing that. Look forward to see you soon.
Yes, Rajiv. Certainly. Bye bye.